What is up, YouTube? This is your boy Connor Getty back on the Gmail041 channel. Welcome. Shout out to everyone who gets a shout out. This is your third installment of Anime Wednesday. Very happy for the repeat viewers. Very happy for any new viewers coming to the show. I'm going to explain the format of the show as we go along. But basically, it's me just talking about my favorite animes. And today's anime is a great one, people. Not only because it has easily one of the top 5 soundtracks in anime history, but also because it features some of my favorite characters and favorite moments in anime history. And with that said, and without further ado, let's get into the show. This show is BECK Mongolian Chop Squad. I know you can't see it because the front is all reflective, but there's the title of the show. And yes, it is BECK Mongolian Chop Squad. This is the special edition case. Yes, I am very happy and blessed to have had this. It's not the easiest thing to find, but I found it at an extremely good price. And again, I'm very happy to have this. Thank you, Funimation. No, they're not a sponsor. I mean, God, I wish they were. Anyway, moving on. General background of the show, and also actually a little bit about the box. Of course, special box edition comes with the first DVD. You actually have to go out and buy the other 5 DVDs. 6 DVD set. It comes with stickers, and it also comes with 6 guitar picks for each individual case. I'm not sure what the price of this is. I'll give you that information. So let's get right into the anime. As you know, I like to give you a little bit of general background before we get into how I grade the animes overall. So, a little general background. This show was commissioned by Madhouse. It's based off of the manga by Hiro Sakuishi, and we're going to talk a little bit about the manga a little bit later on in the review of this show. It was directed by Osamu Kobayashi. He hasn't really directed a lot of things. Again, the studio was Madhouse. It was created in 2004 and aired till 2005. There's 26 episodes, and the plot revolves around Yukio Tanaka, aka Koyuki. He is the main protagonist, as shown on the cover here. He is introduced through circumstance to this man, Ryusuke, one of the best guitar players in Japan, who's recently broken up with his band. He's trying to make it big. Koyuki just happens to meet him, kind of falls in, not in love. Yukio, aka Koyuki, is not gay. He kind of idolizes Ryusuke. Ryusuke starts making his band, which includes Chiba, the singer, aka and also rapper, Taira, the bass player, who's my favorite character in the show, and my man Saku on the drums, who's actually a friend of Koyuki's. And Koyuki, along with Ryusuke's sister Maho, kind of form a relationship. And the basic story is a coming-of-age story about Koyuki, as well as slightly documentary-ish about how this small band called BECK Mongolian Chop Squad comes from, the lowest of lows to the highest of highs. And unfortunately, this show only lasted 1 season. I wish it would have gone longer. However, that's not how the world works. But we're going to talk about that a little bit later again. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the grading of this anime. As you know, I like to grade the anime on 4 main criteria. I'm actually going to grade it on a 5th one today. Marathonability, rewatchability, badassness, classicness, and my mystery 5th one, which I'll reveal later. So first off, marathonability. How would I rate this on a scale of 1 to 10? Marathonability, this is a 6. When you get really into it, the episodes start flying by and you gotta watch them. However, the pace of the show is slow. If Gurren Lagann is paced at one of the highest levels, where it is non-stop, in-your-face action for most of the episodes, this is the almost complete opposite. Lots of dialogue, lots of moments where characters are interacting without a ton of plot being developed. Overall, over the whole story, you only get, I think, less than a year or maybe a year span of time for this band. So it's not a lot of time being passed through these episodes. It's almost like a day by day, hence the documentary-ish nature of the show. Is that a problem? For some people, it can be. For me, I personally enjoyed it. I am a fan of documentaries, so I thought it was fine, and the pacing was pretty well done. But still, I can understand why a lot of people would have a problem, hence the 6 out of 10. Next up, rewatchability. Is this show rewatchable? Yes and no. Episodes where they're playing a lot of the music, hell yes. I would, if every episode were like some of the better ones, I'd give this show a 10 out of 10. However, because a lot of the episodes are a little bit slower, a lot of the episodes don't have as much plot movement, gotta give this show, I was kind of fiddling around with this in my head of what I would give this show. I think I'm going to have to give this show a 6 as well in rewatchability, unfortunately. Again, some of the episodes extremely rewatchable. A lot of the episodes, though, aren't just not rewatchable. And if there are rewatchable moments, it's just those moments are rewatchable and not a lot else. And I think that my opinion of that might have to do with another factor, but again, we're going to discuss about that in a second. Next up, Badassness. Is the show badass? Absolutely. Great. You know, this is a pure like punk rock kind of story. Very, very cool, very awesome. Although Koyuki can be sort of weak, he's carried along by characters like Chiba and Taira and Ryusuke. So in the category of badassness, plus it's also they're playing great rock and roll music. Category badassness, I'm going to have to give this a 7 out of 10. Not the highest score, but it certainly isn't a low score by any means compared to some of the other animes that I have here, including one which we're going to review next week. Complete opposite. This is a much more badass show than quite a few of these animes. Next up, classicness. Is this show a classic? Yes and no. I'm going to if I had to give it a score out of 10, I'm going to have to give this a 7. I know these scores are low and you're thinking, this is one of your favorite animes. Let me explain. Is the music classic? Absolutely. Is the anime classic? In the minds of the people who have watched it and really enjoyed it, like myself, it's an absolute classic. A pure, hands-down classic. For a lot of people who maybe aren't big rock aficionados or aren't really into Japanese rock, even though a lot of it's in English and it's very westernized type of music that they're playing, I can understand why they wouldn't consider this a classic and why quite a few people actually would quit the anime without actually continuing it. That said, however, to me, it's an absolute classic. I remember watching the show when probably 2007, bought it, I think 2011 or 12. One of the first animes I bought, one of my favorite animes that I've ever bought, because of the fact that I've rewatched this actually a couple times. But to me it's a classic. To some others it's not a classic. Hence the 7 out of 10. It's not like a Cowboy Bebop where it's almost unanimously agreed that it's a classic. This, of course, that doesn't reach that level. Doesn't even come close. So my fifth category is, and I'm trying to figure out a way to put this because I've been going through a few ways to summarize it in my head, but manga versus anime. This does come from a manga, which most animes do. For those who don't know, most animes are actually originally mangas, which are the Japanese comics. They're made into the anime once they reach a certain level of popularity. Again, this was a manga way before this was an anime. And the manga, created by Harold Sakiwishi, one of my favorite authors, by the way, is a extremely intense, engaging look at the music world in Japan. It has a lot of allusions to American pop stars. There's a lot of people that he riffs off of for inspiration. For example, let me find him. Chiba is supposed to be based off of Zack de la Rocha out of Rage Against the Machine. Taira is actually based off of Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Excuse me. Ryusuke is sort of based off of, has some Jimmy Page aspects. We have characters in the show who are based off of Jay-Z. We have characters in the show based off of like Kurt Cobain. We have a lot of characters who are based off of other real life musicians. The manga, where this stops at in season 1, the manga continues on for probably enough for 4 or 5 seasons worth of animes. And because of that, the manga is, in my opinion, and remember, I think the show is a classic. In my opinion, the manga is infinitely better. It's 100 and I just need to get. It's 34 volumes. It's excuse me, a few hundred pages each per volume. It's an extremely long manga. It is completed. It isn't done now, but when you compare it to the anime, you have to go with the manga. I know you can't hear it. I know you can't listen to the music. However, in the context of which has a better story, which develops the characters even better, which makes you involved and make you feel and empathize with the characters more, you gotta go with the manga. Hands down, it's infinitely better than the anime. And with that said, finally, I'm going to end this with my overall impressions of the anime and where you can find it. Overall, again, this is a classic music anime. If you like rock music, if you like listening to, foreign music, if you're interested in in alternative music, you have to watch this anime or at least listen to the soundtrack. The soundtrack is completely up right now on YouTube. It's very easy to find. I would highly suggest you listen to it. It's about an hour long of original music from the anime. It's just one of those animes, though, overall, I would have to say is around a 7 out of 10. And it hurts me to say that, but I'm trying to be impartial here. For me, it's a 10 out of 10. But if you look at it critically, it is a 7 out of 10 anime. The story's not very good in terms of the anime. I think the manga does a much better job developing the story because of the simple fact they're able to develop it better because you have more pages and more space than anime. Anime, you're running 24 minutes for 26 episodes. Manga, those 26 episodes I think are done in 29 chapters of 100 pages each. So you're able to develop more of the characters and more of the story and do a little bit more than you can in an anime. In terms of how it was drawn, drawings were pretty crappy, not greatly animated anime. The thing that carries this is the single fact that the music is that damn good. The music is in my opinion, actually the best I've listened to. And I've listened to the Cowboy Bebop soundtrack. I prefer this more, mainly because I'm a huge rock fan. But overall, I have to give it a 7. If you want to check out this anime, there are streaming sites where you can go and watch it. If you're looking to pick this up, you can pick it up on Amazon. They do have a save version where it is just the 6 DVDs. I think that's around $30. Not that bad. It might even be a little bit less. We usually find it on sale. For all of this, I think I paid around $50 to $60 for the total of all the DVDs and the special edition box set. Again, not a bad price. But I was able to get some pretty good prices on all the items. If you want to listen to the soundtrack, again, the soundtrack is up online. There is also a movie. They did a live-action movie last year. That is also up online as well. I would not recommend it. I didn't think it was a well-done adaptation. But again, that's just my opinion. If you want to check it out, that's around 2 hours long. I forget who directed it. But again, I'm not very interested in that anime. I didn't think it was well done at all. Not as well done as the anime, and definitely not as well done as the manga. I think it did a terrible injustice, personally. But it did have some good moments of Ryusuke playing the guitar. If you also want to check out the bands that were in the anime, Beat Crusaders, BECK Saders, Beat Crusaders. They're the ones who did most of the music. The person who did Chiba's voice is from the Japanese band YKZ, one of my favorite rap rock groups from Japan. I forget what band the person who did Koyuki's voice is from. If I find that out, I'll definitely put it in the description below. But there's all your links. There's all your information. So check out BECK Mongolian Chop Squad. Give it a try. I think a lot of you will like it. It is, again, a little bit slower paced, but I think the music will make you really enjoy this one. And with that said, that's going to be it for this video. This has been your boy Connor Garrity on the GMA041 channel. Like the video, comment on the video, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. Next week, the anime that we are going to be reviewing, and I'm looking right now at my anime thing. I know I was going to do one anime, but I decided at the last minute, you know what, I'm actually going to change it. I'm actually going to do another one of my favorite animes. We're going to be reviewing next week Baccano. Get ready, folks, because that's going to be an insane review. If you thought Cowboy Bebop was good, right now I'd already recommend for you, watch Baccano. It's that damn good. And with that said, again, this has been your boy Connor Garrity on the GMA041 channel. With that, hit y'all with the peace.